Hi, I'm Amy with crazybeautiful.com, and today I'm in teacher mode. We're going to do a chalkboard card, and I think you're going to like it. So let's get started. This is a card we're making today. I've got a circle element that's like a little mini chalkboard. So you're going to take your shape, whatever it is, and just give it a good once over with your embossing buddy. Now this will get it kind of chalky looking, and it'll also destaticize it so that the embossing powder doesn't stick really where you don't want it to. In this kind of card where it's more like a chalkboard, it's kind of messy, so I don't mind too much. I'm going to just stamp all of the elements that I'm going to have today. I'm using the High Five stamp set, I think. At least that's what I'm stamping on here. High Five, and I'm stamping some arrows and some stars. And I'm using the Versamark ink for embossing. And if you don't want the shiny embossed look, if you want yours to be maybe a little bit more chalkboardy, chalk-like, you can use just the craft white ink. And this just adds an extra step that just makes it look a little bit more elegant, I guess. So sprinkle your embossing powder on, shake it off, and I've got a couple little spots on there, but I don't mind so much. Like I said, it's kind of got that chalkboard look, and gonna heat emboss it. Then go ahead and let it dry a minute, and I'm just going to add a little bit more of the chalky look on this with my craft white ink. You can roll around a little bit, swipe it on the edges, just basically as get it to where you like it. I'm just going to rub a little bit in, and that'll give it a little bit more of a frame around the outside of my circle. And then go ahead, and I'm just going to speed the video up a little bit here so we can get this card put together. Of course, because I'm using Blackberry Bliss, it's really dark. I'm going to put a liner in. I like to do that first so I don't forget. And then I'm going to show you how I stamped my lines. Now, this is a photopolymer stamp set, so it's completely clear, and it's actually giving me a little bit of trouble with the lighting. But I like to make sure my paper, my cardstock there is lined up on my grid paper, so that way I can look straight through my stamp onto those lines, and you can see it's maybe about not quite a half an inch between the two lines, so you can eyeball it or just use the grid lines under to make sure you're straight. And you're going to just stamp that. And when you use the photopolymer stamps especially, you want to make sure you either stamp off between when you're doing something like this, or you just make sure to re-ink the whole stamp. Otherwise you'll get like a partial image stamped. So I'm adding the stars with daffodil. And some of the words, I'm going to come back later and add one more word onto this, but that's with the Blackberry Bliss ink. And now we're just going to tear the top to make it look like, like a notebook page that was ripped out. So if you tear towards yourself, it'll make that, that fleshy part of the paper showing. So you can do it however you like, but that's how I do it. Adhere that down. I'm going to take my circle and pop it up with dimensionals. And I always cut mine in half. They really go far, and you don't need 3 big huge circles to put this down. So I just pull off my little backs, and I'm going to put that on there Okay, so this element we're going to actually use both dimensionals and a glue dot because I want it to be half on the black and half on the white. So the white I want, I want to match up the layers. So the dimensional will, get that at the same layer as the black. Getting my button, took a minute, but put some thread. I just put some baker's twine through my button and added that on. And then now I'm going to come back, and I just decided it needed one more stamp here. So I'm going to put Your Fabulous on, and that's all from that same High Five stamp set. And my card's done. Thanks for joining me.